be able to tell, I am not using my phone. That is because I didn't want it to fall off again, like I want to say last time, but it's probably the time before, because I'm going to be uploading that challenge video at some point today. Oliver's coming over to help me film that. As you guys probably know, it's Monday today, so as I'm using my phone at the moment, that's going to be uploading the apology video later on today, which is it's good in some respects. But the reason I'm making this video, as many of you are beginning to wonder, I want to talk to you about some kind of business proposition, or like, I don't know, is it a proposition? I don't know, you decide what it is. Okay, so basically what I want to start doing is okay, I want to start making a computer game. Okay, although I'm going to start right at the beginning. I was wondering whether to start right at the beginning just then, but I will start right at the very beginning. I don't know what I've said in past videos, but just to recap, if I have said anything, a little while ago I ended up entering this competition with Universal Studios, where they wanted people to make a computer game for their Back to the Future franchise. So yeah, I ended up entering for that, but unfortunately my idea didn't go through. But what I thought about was the fact that it wasn't just an opportunity to make a Back to the Future video game. It's if it didn't come through, I've got a game idea already set up, I've got the specification, I can do my own spin-off, sort of. It's not, I wouldn't be able to use Back to the Future assets, so to speak, so I wouldn't be able to use any of the characters, wouldn't be able to use a car that travels back in time, stuff like that, but I would be able to use my main storyline sort of for being like a for a new game of its own. So I don't know what I'm going to call it yet or anything like that, but I thought that if I use this channel and your ideas to help sort of develop it further, because it's having one person making a game, it's all their own ideas, but just because it makes sense in my head doesn't mean it will make sense for everyone else, which is most of the time it's the case. Even with just having conversations with people, they're saying, how did you get that from what we were saying? But yeah, so in my head it just doesn't make any sense, apparently. So the reason I'm looking over there at my computer again, so it's just gone one. It's like my TV is due between like 1:45 and 3 o'clock, something like that. So my TV's due fairly soon. So I'm just making this video to make up the time. So I don't know how much longer it is. I don't want to see the van sort of go along the road and I'm having to go, sorry guys, gotta go. But no, it's so basically what I'm going to do is I've got an idea. I wanted to call, because I was thinking, well, if I can't have Marty, I'm going to have like a different character or character's name or something like that. So I was going to call the main character Chris, being an abbreviation of Christopher, which actually works out brilliantly, because that would mean there's like Saint Christopher, who is like the patron saint of travellers in sort of some religions, and I thought that I'd be able to use that to my advantage, because so you get time travellers, so sort of patron saint of travellers, he could be patron saint for time travellers as well, but it could be where the idea came from. Now in this game, it's like most decent games, they've got Easter eggs and stuff hidden in the actual game. So my idea is I would have like small hints to other time travel themed like films, games and stuff. So it's I can do with some suggestions for that. So I was going to do, naturally, because you've got Back to the Future, I was going to have that, is it orange or red? I think it's red. It's like a red puffer jacket that he wears over the top of his jacket. So I might try and have one of those hanging from a tree or something like that. But it's, my idea is that this character Chris, he goes back in time to like sort some stuff out. So like he can't remember something, or it's like he wants to meet people, he wants to travel through time, whatever. And so he ends up finding someone. Because the idea is that I'm going to have like two worlds, so to speak. So I've got the present, well, so the real world that he's actually, real world? It's like present time where he's actually from, but then I was going to have like a broken world. So it's like the time circuits explode or something like that. It's just sort of like the main console in front of him just explodes. He gets thrown from whatever, well, gets thrown from the time machine. Is for a little while I was thinking maybe have like some kind of like time travel submarine or something like that, which sounds like really weird, but it's, let's think about it, it's like the Earth, it's mostly water. You got like, yeah, you got countries and stuff, but it's mostly water, so the chances of actually landing on land would be very minimal. So it's like I was going to have some kind of nutty science geek that was going to be the person that made this time machine in the first place, and he was coming up with this idea where he wouldn't necessarily know where he was going to land, and so chances are he was going to land in the water. So it's like he was going to have like this submarine that he'd be able to hide and whatever, so that no one would actually be able to see. So if it were a boat, then they'd be able to see like the first boat or something. He would be interfering, whereas if it's underwater they won't necessarily be able to see it. And I've lost another bar of battery on my camera. Okay. No, it's not a van, that's an airplane. Okay. Yeah, airplane is... No, it's getting closer. Okay. Let me know if you can hear the airplane, so just like turn up the volume, you'll be able to hear an airplane. And it's going. Okay. No. Oh god, okay, I'm just going to ignore that. I'm going to ignore the plane. So, it's, yeah, this thing is like, the idea is that he was completely nuts and thought that this submarine would be a good idea. Now, I don't know quite how insane the idea sounds, but yeah, that was my initial thought. I might change it to be something that resembles a UFO, so that we can have like the first unidentified flying object sighting. I was going to use, so I don't know how many of you have actually watched Wallace and Gromit, which is like a, it's like a claymation type thing. It's yeah, it's really quite cool to watch. It's well, I don't know how old it is now, but yeah, they use like mice and rabbits, and you get the mice in one of them in was it like they go to the moon, and it's a Grand Day Out. That's the one that it's called. Wallace and Gromit Grand Day Out. They make this rocket ship and try to fly to the moon, but it's like it comes from the basement, and you got all these mice get out their shades and just watch as it takes off. It's just yeah, it's like they're somewhat in the background, but they were a part of the story. It's, you know, it's still one of the funny things to do. So I was planning on doing something similar, but with cavemen. So it's primitive species and all that, well, primitive versions of us. But at the same time, it's like this broken world. You got like other parts of time leaking through as well. So you'd have space. You'd have stuff like cowboys and Indians running through. You'd have sort of stuff from NASA, I guess. Although it won't be NASA, it will probably be my own space station that I name something. I don't know. Maybe you guys get to name the space station. That'd be cool. So it's like comments down below for like ideas for the space station name, and also like where this thing's gonna go. It's I want to see ideas like flowing through. I want to make this game with you guys, not sort of by myself, and also give me a bit of a challenge as well. Because so in my head I'm thinking, yeah, I can do this, that, and the other with this. Although I'll probably end up changing it, and it will be something that just looks crap. So if I actually have other ideas put into this, it would be absolutely amazing. And I will make it available to you guys first, obviously, as I'll probably put a link to a game download or something on here. So that would be really quite awesome, I think. Or maybe you guys would be able to order it, I don't know. Like I say, it's really early stages at the moment. It will go, I am going to make this game because it's a project that I just want to do on my own. Well, not on my own. I want to do it with you guys. I want to do it with you. Yeah, so it's going to be one of those type of things. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just reaching back, going like that. Why not? Stretch. Oliver really wanted to see this t-shirt, so I went and we went on holiday someplace, and I went and saw a Weird Fish Pink Floyd t-shirt, and it's like a me take on a bunch of album covers. Yeah. Well, back to the game. Game, of course. How can I forget about the game? Do not forget about the game. Just dying over here. It's all good. I'll probably like make myself coffee in a minute. I'll be fine. I'll be good. Don't know why you need to see that. This is a little plastic thing that this camera is actually supposed to be on with the tripod. Although where the bottom got wrecked, on there, I don't know if you can see, it's got scratch marks. That's where it pretty much tore out the bottom of my camera. Camera still works though. That's the good news. Sound works and everything. It's just the fact that I can't clip it onto anything. It's got to be sat on something still. Yeah. Got to be sat on like a table or something. But the tripod still works. So I've just got to take this piece off and make sure it doesn't fall like my phone. Yeah. So pretty much, I don't know where this thing's going to go. It's like story ideas and that. So I want to have one scene in there where it's like a cowboy and an astronaut just sat down having conversation, but it's like in the broken world, of course, but it's at the same time I was going to have it so that they can somewhat hop between this broken world and the normal world. So I'm going to try and make two. It's like one that looks more like a city, and one that is, well, the broken world being the forest. As sort of forests, they seem eerie, things can come out from any random corner, and yeah, so I've got the intro pretty much sussed. It's gonna have like a couple of flashbacks to them getting into the machine before it explodes, and then sort of have them falling out of it, like just small flashbacks right at the intro, and then it's gonna go back to it's pretty much they've got to sort of run through the forest to start off with. Then they come out to a clearing. Then you get the flashback to them having the machine explode on them, and then it's so right there and then they sort of hear rustling in the trees behind them. They turn around to see like a T-Rex roar on a cliff top. Why not? Why not just have a cliff top there? But that's when you'd get the opening credits. Yeah. It sounds really quite basic, but in my head it seems better than that. It seems better in my head, it really does. I don't know how it's going to pan out. I don't even know what the characters are going to look like. I just know that there's going to be this guy called Chris and a friend. I don't know, may as well have a friend. Why not? Gotta have a travelling companion. You can't just end up talking to yourself in a broken world. Maybe the caveman is his friend. Caveman being a friend. That'd be awesome. No, would it be awesome? Who knows? It's maybe he gets lonely, and then his ideas turn to making a caveman into a friend. It's like I say, it's really out in the open here with what's going to happen. all I know is that I did want one area where it's like he goes back to the present time and realizes that technology has advanced really, really fast. So it's like he doesn't understand how that's happened, goes back to the broken world, realizes that the cavemen have actually come in contact with I don't know, like touchscreen technology billions of years too soon. Billions, millions, thousand, no, millions. Yeah, millions of years too soon. So, yeah. There's like millions of years of advanced technology and stuff. It's like I was going to have in the broken world as well. It's like you got flying cars going over. It's maybe like an occasional flying car. But for now, it's like really quite like some ideas as to like, it's just put in the comments right down below there, right down there. Put there sort of like ideas for sort of Easter eggs, as well as sort of the space station name, space station, and the Easter eggs. That's what I want to focus on at the moment, and then I'll sort of try and build a story around something. It's like I've got a vague idea of what I wanted to do, but it's like a lot of what I had for the original sort of game idea I wouldn't be able to do because it involved a lot of what happened in the Back to the Future films, because I wanted to base the game around that. But yeah, now I can't, so I'm pretty much starting from scratch, although I've got a vague outline of what I want to do, which is why I'm asking for you guys to help out. So yeah, I'm not going to be able to show anything right now. I might touch behind.